On a beautiful spring day, March 26, 2023, a resident of the small English village of Basing decided to take a walk with his faithful dog along the picturesque River Witham in Lincolnshire. While enjoying the tranquility and charming scenery, the man suddenly saw his dog pull a white package out of the water and place it at his master's feet. Noticing an unpleasant odor, the man thought it contained spoiled food, which had attracted the dog's attention. But upon untying the knot, he saw a horrifying find and immediately called the police. Officers arrived at the scene within half an hour. The package contained a severed human hand. Divers searched the river and by evening had retrieved 17 more similar packages. They were sent to a forensic lab in London, where experts took 13 hours to assemble a frightening puzzle of 224 body parts. Clearly, the police were dealing with a brutal killer who knew anatomy, possibly someone with a medical background. The medical examiner determined that the victim was a young woman, 20 to 30 years old, who had died about a week ago. No distinguishing features, tattoos or scars were found on the body to help identify her. A thorough search of the area yielded no additional evidence. Detectives then started looking for matches in the missing persons database. The description fit 26-year-old Holly Mason, who was last seen alive on March 20. Oddly, it was her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Bramley, not her husband, who had reported her missing. As early as March 17, they had noticed changes in their daughter's behavior. She stopped answering calls, only sending messages in an unusual style. The parents said Holly had suddenly started being rude to them and demanding they leave her alone. This was completely out of character for their kind and loving daughter. DNA analysis confirmed that the mutilated body belonged to Holly Mason from the city of Lincoln, 7 kilometers from where the gruesome discovery was made. The woman lived with her 28-year-old husband Nicholas. Holly was born in 1997 into a large family. She was one of triplets and had a wonderful relationship with all 13 of her siblings. After high school, she enrolled in Boston Medical College, where in her second year she met her future husband, then a senior student in the therapeutic department. Little is known about Nicholas' youth. At age 17, he was convicted of assaulting a girl, and in 2016, while in college, he received a suspended sentence for publishing photos of his ex-girlfriend out of revenge for their breakup. After this scandal, Nicholas was expelled from college. Despite his dark past and Asperger's syndrome, Holly entered into a close relationship with him. Unable to become a doctor, the young man got a job at a meat processing plant. In September 2021, 3 years after Holly graduated from medical college and started her career as a nurse at a Lincoln hospital, Nicholas proposed to his beloved. The couple had a quiet wedding and settled into a 2-bedroom apartment on the 14th floor of a high-rise on the outskirts of the city. Holly realized that life with Nicholas would not be easy due to his condition. Asperger's syndrome manifested in her husband as an obsessive desire to control everything. He demanded detailed reports from his wife about her every move, diet, medications, even the color of her socks. Nicholas tried to isolate Holly from family and friends. She rarely saw them, communicating mostly by phone or social media. Having experience working with autistic children during her studies, Holly applied this knowledge in her relationship with her husband. She would either ignore his remarks or assure him of her devotion to calm him down. But this tactic only fueled Nicholas' obsession. His control became more and more total, despite his wife's angelic patience. In the fall of 2022, Nicholas thought Holly was too attached to their dog. One time, he allegedly accidentally left the animal in the washing machine, which then turned on by itself. Nicholas arranged it so that his wife would be the first to find the dead pet. Later, the same fate befell the hamsters Holly got. Her husband claimed the rodents had escaped from their cage and crawled into the microwave and blender on their own. The girl already understood then that she was dealing with a dangerous psychopath she needed to escape from. In December, Holly told a friend about her fears, mentioning not only the killed animals, but other disturbing incidents. "Run while you still can. Are you still hesitating?" the friend pleaded. But it took Holly 4 more months to dare leave Nicholas, whom she was now simply terrified of. The last straw was when in March 2023, her husband cooked their decorative rabbit for dinner. Holly's parents remembered that their daughter loved her younger siblings and nephews very much and dreamed of becoming a mother. But Nicholas was not at all fit for the role of a father. Holly had been planning a divorce since early 2023, but kept postponing the decision. On March 18, 2023, Holly did not show up for work. The worried head nurse, unable to reach her, contacted Nicholas. He replied that the couple had divorced and Holly had taken her things and left for parts unknown just last night. He told the same thing to the girl's parents when they couldn't get through to her. For the next 2 days, family and friends searched for Holly everywhere, but to no avail. No one knew who she had disappeared with or where to. Eventually, on March 20th, her parents filed a missing person report with the police. The next day, investigators called Nicholas Mason in for questioning. He reiterated that on March 17 or 18, Holly had packed her bags and left. He claimed he himself had seen from the window that she was accompanied by 2 unknown men. Nicholas speculated that his wife had long had a lover, but decided not to make a fuss. When asked why he didn't go to the police, the man casually replied that if Holly hadn't returned, their marriage had ceased to exist and her fate was no longer any of his concern. Nicholas behaved pointedly calmly during the interrogation, but noticeably got nervous when the police demanded to search his apartment. He reluctantly agreed. Before entering, the officer suspiciously double-checked if Holly was definitely not at home. "I'm 100% sure, but if you don't believe me, check, maybe she's hiding under the bed," Nicholas replied mockingly. Indeed, most of Holly's things were not found in the apartment, but there was a sharp smell of bleach everywhere. Bloody napkins were found in the kitchen trash can. Nicholas explained this by saying that during their last meeting, Holly had bitten his hand. He showed teeth marks as proof. Although the story sounded highly dubious, the police could not detain the man for lack of solid evidence. Law enforcement officers returned to Nicholas a few days later, when an examination confirmed that the mutilated body from the River Witham belonged to the missing Holly Mason. Someone had disabled the surveillance cameras in the couple's building 2 days before Holly's disappearance by cutting the cable. But footage from a neighboring building shows the girl entering the entrance with a bag of fish on March 17, 2023. She did not come out of there again. Nicholas Mason was immediately arrested and a thorough search was conducted in the apartment. Despite the generous use of bleach, which the man had literally flooded the dwelling with, experts still found traces of Holly's blood in the bedroom, kitchen and bathroom. The evidence indicated that the conflict had started in the bedroom, then the girl tried to hide in the kitchen, where she was brutally attacked. Nicholas killed his wife, and then, using his skills from working at the meat processing plant, dismembered her body in the bathroom, packed it into bags and started thinking about how to get rid of the remains. To keep people away, he hung a note on the door warning that the apartment's residents had coronavirus and asking not to disturb them. Then Nicholas took possession of Holly's phone and began sending messages on her behalf to friends and family. He wrote that the girl had hurt herself, ended up in a mental hospital, from which she had escaped to Manchester. The killer also accused Holly of treating her husband cruelly. He transferred money from her account to his and withdrew it from the nearest ATM. When Holly's loved ones raised the alarm a few days later, Nicholas realized it was time to get rid of the bags with the remains and carefully clean up any traces. He asked an old school friend, 27-year-old Joshua Hancock, for help, promising to pay him £50, about $60. Joshua, like Nicholas, had Asperger's syndrome, but unlike his accomplice, he also had a very low IQ. The young man lived with his parents and had problems. In January 2023, Joshua had already come to the attention of the police for online correspondence with minors. He invited 2 beauties to his home, sending the address, but instead of girls, law enforcement officers showed up at his place. The incident was recorded on video. Joshua pretended not to understand what was going on. He was released on bail, and just 3 months later he agreed to help Nicholas hide the remains of Holly Mason. Nicholas got a large cart, loaded 18 bags into it, took them to the car, then picked up Joshua, and the friends headed for the river. After dumping the gruesome cargo, they returned to the apartment to do a thorough cleaning. Nicholas gave Joshua the promised £50, and he went home. And a few hours later, he was already bragging to another friend in a message that he had received money for helping to get rid of a corpse. Joshua took a picture of himself with the banknote and posted it online with the caption, "Girls, call me, I haven't had in a long time." True, a couple of days later he deleted this post. Meanwhile, Nicholas locked himself in the apartment, not opening the door to anyone, and entered such queries in the search engine as, "What assistance will I receive in the event of my wife's death? Can bleach destroy fingerprints? Will a ghost haunt me after her death? Does God forgive murder?" In the spring of 2024, Nicholas Mason appeared in court and fully admitted his guilt. On April 5, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with the right to early release after 19 years. By his actions, not only taking his wife's life, but also trying to hide her body so that her family would never know the truth, he showed extraordinary cynicism and cruelty. So he quite deservedly ended up behind bars, to atone for his guilt and rethink what he had done. Nicholas' accomplice Joshua Hancock also pleaded guilty. Eyewitnesses claimed that he was more remorseful for what he had done than the killer himself. Joshua got 3 years in prison and was put on the offender registry for 10 years. Holly's grief-stricken parents called their daughter's death a huge tragedy for the entire family. They hope that Nicholas will spend the rest of his life behind bars and never be released. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Until next time, friends.